Support for Steppin Out is made possible by local author Sarada Bonnet. In Notes of Forgiveness, Bonnet shares her childhood story as daughter of famed rockabilly singer Sherry Davis. Notes of Forgiveness, available in bookstores and at saradabonnet.com.
I'm Peggy Scott Laborde, and welcome to Steppin Out, spotlighting the New Orleans area's arts and entertainment scene. Seated at our table tonight, Banu Gibson, jazz vocalist, here to discuss the Steamboat Stomp Festival next weekend. Great to see you, Banu.
Oh, it's so nice to be back with you, Peggy.
Absolutely. Poppy Tooker, host of the WWNO radio program, Louisiana Eats. Hey, Miss Poppy.
Hey, Peg.
And we're glad that visual and performance artist Jose-Torres Tama is here to discuss his brand new book of poetry. Hello, Jose.
Oh, pleasure.
Good to see you, sir. And, of course, we've got Alan Smason, editor of the online Crescent City Jewish News. But first up, Miss Poppy.
You know, I'm always looking for deals for everybody and things to celebrate. Deal and a celebration. Dickie Brennan's Steakhouse is turning sweet 16. Can you believe 16 years?
I don't.
And the deal through the month of November on Fridays, $16. 2 courses. You start with either a wedge salad or turtle soup, and then you have an entree choice. You can have pepper-crusted tuna, or I'll be having the petite filet with lobster mac and cheese, wilted spinach, and a marchand du vin. $16. A glass of wine's usually more than that. So, great bargain. Go help Dickie celebrate. Beth Biondo. I wonder if people know Beth. They certainly know her desserts. She's the former pastry chef at Lillette. She was nominated for a James Beard Award several times, and she's holding the Bywater Bake Sale at Satsuma every other Sunday. That's the Satsuma on Dauphine Street this Sunday, and also then Sunday, November 23rd from 2 until 5. You have incredible choices. We saw the picture of that beautiful pear tart. There'll be little individual ones for $5. Also, that gorgeous chocolate peanut brittle layer cake, that's $6 a slice, or you can contact Beth and she will also make ahead of time full-size tarts, full-size cakes. It's a very good bit of information to know how to get in touch with Beth and let her be your new personal baker. Now, while we're on the topic of baking, the Food for Friends Thanksgiving Pie Sale is on. This is such a wonderful thing that they do. It's 9-inch pies for $15, apple, pecan, pumpkin, and cherry. I want you to know you buy 1 pie, and that ensures that 3 people will not go hungry or forgotten on Thanksgiving. You have to order by Monday, November 17th to pick them up at the Unitarian Church at Claiborne and Jefferson. You can pick them up on Tuesday the 25th or Wednesday the 26th, or order 5 or more pies and you get free delivery. Now, do you love to make pies? You want to be a better pie maker? Volunteer to help my friend Hussein. And you can make pies with Hussein. You can order online or contact Glenn Carmen to order pies or to volunteer.
Wow. Thank you so much, Miss Poppy.
Imagine 3 people do not go hungry for one $15
what a great
pie.
Idea. And so New Orleans, too.
Yeah,
I love that.
Great idea.
And we turn to Jose. And Jose, you and I were talking earlier about you've been in New Orleans over 30 years now, right before the World's Fair.
Absolutely. I arrived January 11th, 1984.
And you're originally from Ecuador, but via New York and New Jersey.
That's where I was raised, in New York and New Jersey. I went to school in New Jersey and also New York City.
Well, even though I know you're a New Orleanian, you travel a lot. And tell us about that traveling, what you're doing.
I just came off an amazing tour, Peggy. I was performing Aliens, Immigrants, and Other Evildoers, my sci-fi Latino noir solo performance piece.
Okay, that's a mouthful.
Pun intended, right? At the California, I was teaching actually at Cal Arts Institute, the prestigious institute. I was teaching performance art, experimental theater, and creative writing for the stage. And then I performed at the Los Angeles Theater Center. We sold out to 2 shows there for the National Encuentro Latino Theater Festival. And then I performed at Highways Performance Space in Santa Monica. I dropped in at UC Irvine and also Cal State Northridge. You know, I'm a little bit of a renegade scholar.
Well, the big news is that you have a book of poetry, kind of reflecting your time on this earth. Let's tell us about it.
25 years. Immigrant Dreams and Alien Nightmares, published by Dialogos Books here in New Orleans, which is run by the maverick publisher Bill Lavender, who also publishes Lavender Inc. And he's presenting incredible amount of poetry, including it's also coming out. Andy Young, who teaches at New Orleans Center for Creative Arts, her book is coming out as well, and I am just grateful. You know, when Bill approached me when we started speaking about a year ago, he said, "Well, I need you to get me a perfect document," and I was like, "Yeah, I could do that in a month's time." So a year and a half later, around September of this year, or not actually around midsummer, around August, July, I was still sending him some notes on corrections. We put this out. He published this in September. We're having the book launch in here in New Orleans at the Shadowbox Theater this Wednesday.
That's
and
great.
I'm extremely excited. 25 years of performance poems that have informed about 7 actual solo pieces.
And if you will, let's hear a part of one of your poems.
Yes, and
Set
so
this up
I've
for
written
us,
up quite a bit. You know, last time I was here, I was promoting the work I've done on the Creoles, on the Free People of Color, and on the portrait of Marie Laveau that I created. It was on the cover of that Ogden Museum book, which is also published and also available as a great gift for the upcoming holidays. But this is my dedication to Marie Laveau. As you know, she lives in the mythic imagination of our people here, probably the most well-known free woman of color. So this is called Marie Maria Mulata Santa Laveau. They come conjuring your spirit, Marie, conjuring you up for modern appearances and blessings from the silence of your grave, earth impressed with your sacraments, your deified bones defying time, blood called from one century to another by white devotees, descendants of Puritans who would name you Tituba of Midnight if New Orleans was Salem. Scorch your imprint, burn your being from our memory. Scorch your imprint, burn your being from our memory, call you witch, Bruja Negra, cinder your name, call you unholy African, call you satanic voodoo because fear of unknown religions always precipitates Puritan terror in return. But we call you mulata, morena, mujer criolla y libre, free woman of color, our tanned Ave Maria, holy Laveau, we remember you.
Very nice. Thank you so much. And the city clearly inspires you, doesn't it?
I love the city. You know that, as many of us, right? Sometimes it's a tortured love affair, right? So, but I've done so much research on New Orleans Creole's history, on the Spanish legacy of New Orleans, which is really influential to a lot of the work that's noted here. And also, this was the first city in the United States where I actually arrived in the center of town. You see the placards proudly proclaiming the legacy of the Spanish colonial time period. I had never experienced that anywhere else, where it says, you know, Calle Real, for example, Royal Street, right? This was named Calle Real during the time of the Spanish colonial period from 1761 to 1803, right?
Well, thank you. You're so productive. You've always got something interesting going, too.
Well, I have found my voice here, my many cultivated voices here.
Well, thank you, Jose.
Thank you.
And now it's time for our visual artist spotlight. Tonight we are featuring 2 pieces of art by 2 artists. The first is Guardian Lions by Peg Usner. We know those lions at City Park. She specializes in subjects involving landscapes and paintings, photography, and other media. She is a longtime member of the St. Tammany Art Association. The next piece is an Acadian dining table by Greg Arsenault. Arsenault uses woods native to Louisiana in his furniture designs. He dedicates his life's work to preserving our state's unique furniture heritage. Both artists' works will be on view tomorrow with a reception from noon to 6 at the Arsenault showroom, and that's in Covington. And there'll be live music by John Rankin. Go to either of their websites for more information. Also tomorrow, don't miss Mid-City Art Studios open house. That's from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Toulouse. That's in Mid-City, corner of North Murat. Allison Stewart and many other artists will be displaying their works. Visit midcityartstudio.com to learn more. And you can visit WYES.org to see our online calendar and to see our lineup of events. You can also go to WYES.org to see our program online, too. And now we turn to Miss Banu, and what a rip-roaring weekend that starts next Friday.
Absolutely. It's going to be absolutely incredible. It's the 2nd annual Steamboat Stomp, and it's celebrating the music of jazz in New Orleans on the Mississippi River. The first part of the event takes place at the Royal Sonesta Hotel in one of the ballrooms, but on Saturday and Sunday, it's on the Steamboat Natchez, which is going to be so much much fun. So many great musicians, so many good bands, and we are celebrating traditional jazz, which I know you love.
Yes.
A connoisseur of.
But you live it.
I do. And so on, the bands are going to be my band. The Yerba Buena Stompers are coming in from the West Coast. Tim Laughlin and his trio, and Solid Harmony is working with him. Don Vappy, Evan Christopher, Steve Pistorius and his quartet, and the brainchild came from Duke Hiker, who works on the Steamboat Natchez with the Steamboat Stompers, and he always kept talking about trying to make an event that happens yearly to promote jazz on the river in connection with the steamboats. And Captain Holly's going to be doing a
Doc Holly.
Don't we love him?
In former Natchez captain.
Yep. All about music and jazz on the Mississippi River with the steamboats, and he's doing a talk at the Historic New Orleans Collection, which will benefit them. And we're just so excited. So we want to get locals to come out this year and support the music and have such a good time. You know, the Natchez is sort of like the Empire State Building of New Orleans, right, where everybody knows it's there, but it's nice to go visit it as a local, right? It
is amazing as a local, and to get an idea of the harbor and the river itself. Not many locals have really enjoyed that.
And it's really
such
spectacular.
A delight.
It is. When I first learned to play the banjo, I was hired, and I think one of my fondest memories is on the Natchez with the wind from the Mississippi blowing in my face as I play the banjo, and it's just so much fun.
Well, as we said, we've got the Steamboat. Here we go, steamboatstopneworleans.com for all of the details, and Tim Laughlin is going to be with them many times, including on the 15th. But now, though, we have an opportunity to hear from Tim Laughlin and pianist Kris Tokarski, and they're going to play You're Lucky to Me, and it's from Tim's latest CD. Let's enjoy that. stopneworleans.com for all the information. And before we move on, though, where can we find out more about what you're up to?
BanuGibson.com.
We can
follow
that.
Easy. Yep,
Okay.
that one's easy. Thank you.
Thank you, Banu. It's great to see you. And now, New Orleans Magazine's quiz queen, Julia Street, has a question for us. Last time, Tony Rizzuto gave us the name of the cemetery where Marie Laveau, speaking of Marie Laveau, was allegedly buried, and the name of another cemetery that contains a tomb linked to Storyville Madam Josie Arlington. Okay, Laveau, St. Louis #1, Arlington in Metairie. Now, tonight's question. There are two vegetables, Poppy, you love this, that are traditionally used as ingredients in gumbo, though never both at the same time. Name them. Email your answers to steppinout@wyes.org. Our prizes, a Louisiana Life magazine subscription. And this week, we also have a special prize, the Essential Louisiana Cookbook by Stanley Dry. He'll be on with us next week, too. It's published by Renaissance Publishing. It features classic and innovative Louisiana dishes, each with a full-page color photograph by Eugenie Yule. And there's a book launch. That's next Wednesday. And that's next Wednesday at 6 o'clock, and it is at Octavia Books. And we also have a gift certificate for two, courtesy of VN's Tea House, offering their culinary and gourmet tea experience. And tonight we have a T-shirt is worn by WYES staffer Steve Golembeski with the message Grouper Therapy from our friends at WearableVegetables.com. All right, and now to you, Mr. Allen.
And he works for Scale, too, I want you to know.
Oh, good deal.
Well, let's talk a little bit about what's going on at the Sanger Theater. First off, everybody must know, if they haven't heard by now, the Phantom of the Opera is coming back to New Orleans. And of course, it's the longest running show on Broadway. It's over 11,000 performances on Broadway, and a little bit more than that in the West End, because of course Phantom is actually there, only second to Les Miserables, still playing in the West End. But Phantom of the Opera is going to be here with an all-new production. I'm very interested in seeing it. I'd love to be able to tell you how good I enjoyed it and how well it was performed on Wednesday opening night, but we didn't get to get invitations out to the critics until tonight. But we will see what happens, and I will have a report on that for you for next week. But those of you who don't know the story about Christine Daae, the opera singer, she's going to be transported into the inner recesses of the Phantom's lair. You're going to see and hear all the wonderful songs that the Phantom of the Opera has to perform, as well as Christine. Great if you like opera, even better if you like musical theater, Broadway. I suggest that you get over there to the Sanger Theater to check it out. Okay, now let's talk about something a little bit different, and that is about workshopping. I discussed this a little while ago. Workshopping is a process by which plays get vetted nowadays. More and more, you don't see a play done as it was in the old days, where they will actually take a play and sort of put it together and then just throw it out there. A really good example is on Broadway. The most recent winner of the Best Musical, A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder, was workshopped and developed over a period of 9 years. Well, I would also mention that workshopping took place in 2000 to 2002 with the 25th Annual Putnam County Spelling Bee, a great show that was written by William Finn, who shares a birthday with me, among others. But I have to tell you that this is a great performance being had over at none other than Mid-City Theater, and it's NOCA, actually taking the kids out of the NOCA classroom experience and bringing them to a real theater stage, and it is really wonderful. And I got to tell you, from Amy Alvarez and some of the other people who the cast includes several of the adult teachers in the cast as well. As an example, we mentioned. They had Jefferson Turner as music director, and several of the other people who were involved. Fantastic show. But the kids are really the ones who steal the show. And take a look at what wonderful performances they have. You can see just right there that they really are into it, and their voices are all exquisite. I have to tell you, they're all really talented, and it's worth a trip over to Mid-City Theater to see them do that. Now, a show that probably could have benefited from workshopping at the Anthony Bean Community Theater on the boards right now is I'd Rather Be Rich. This is a brand new world premiere by Fred Roberts Jr. And I have to say that it was a little bit more of a problem with the writing as far as I'm concerned. The beginning of the play deals with a cash of cash, if you will, a bag of $52,000 that's discovered by one of the characters. That's Les, played by Dwight Clay. And we figure that that's where this particular play is going to head. But then there comes a story about an inheritance that's going to be coming in from England. It's going to affect their lives. I'd Rather Be Rich really deals with looking for finding quick cash, finding an easy solution to life's travails. And I have to say that in this particular case, it fell short of what I was looking for. The comedy is there, but it needed to be developed better. It starts off in one direction and ends in another, and then abruptly ends without much real resolution as I was looking at it. Again, I will tell you that Leah Roger plays Charity, and Ava plays her would-be lover, the triangle, if you would, in this particular story. I'd Rather Be Rich plays through November the 23rd at the Anthony Bean Community Theater. Also, another show that benefited from workshopping. This is the prequel to what we know now as Peter Pan, the story that started back at the early 1900s. This is going to be the story of the little boy in black stash who, of course, become Peter Pan and Captain Hook. So this is going to be at Le Petit Theater. It's opening now and will be running again through the remainder of the month, for the most part, till the 23rd. 3 weeks, I'm going to have a chance to see it and be able to report on it next week. Also opening tonight in Kenner, directed by none other than Ricky Graham, we have One Man, Two Governors, starring Chris Maroy. This will be a fabulous show. It won all kinds of awards on Broadway. I want you to keep in mind that this is the Rivertown Theater's Performing Arts. Is again a Kelly Fushi, Gary Rucker production. Gary's going to be starring in it as well. And there's some wonderful performances. I've already seen some video on it, so I know what to expect. I would recommend this one very highly.
All right, thank you, Alan. And now it's time for our picks. Banu.
What am I picking? I picked Steamboat Stomp.
And your website, once again?
BanuGibson.com.
Very good. Okay. Alan.
Well, I have to tell you about The World Goes Round. That's the songs, the music of Kander and Ebb. It's at Loyola University at the Marquette Theater, and it's going to be going on, I think, through the 15th of November.
Okay. Jose.
The Words and Music Festival with Faulkner Society. I'll be there on Saturday, November 22nd. It's called The Muse of the Mississippi with many other poets, 4:15 p.m., Monteleone Hotel.
And your website, sir?
My website is torrestama.com. For the book, you go to dialogosbook.com.
Okay, Poppy.
Big news, mark your calendars. November 17th, the reservations are taken for Season of Good Taste, wine tasting and coffee pairing dinners. It always sells out. Get on the website and get ready.
And it helps WYES.
Absolutely.
So big plug. Thank you so much. And before we go to my picks, I would like to share a few Halloween photos. First up, WYES staffer Aislinn Hinyip and her family in their nod to Star Wars. Darling, looked great. And in Mid-City, lots of trick-or-treaters. Marvel and Justice League hero costumes were especially popular this year. And now my picks. The Jaspers Brothers, the bluegrass group, Robert Eustace, Stephen Wolfe, and Lee Campbell. They'll be playing at Pearl Wine Bar in the American Can Company. That's tomorrow at 8 p.m. And Bon Appetit will present Some Enchanted Evening. That's next Wednesday evening at 4 Points by the Sheraton. That's Sheraton at the French Quarter at Toulouse. They'll be featuring the music of Rodgers and Hammerstein. And the crew of T-Rex presents an evening of socializing, cocktails, and art in their showroom and at an auction fundraiser. They're raising money for of course, their parade. And that's going to be at the Art Club. That's at Michelopolis Studio and Elysian Fields. Tickets are a mere $10 at the door, and you can visit T-Rex Parade, TITRexparade.com for more on that. And now, though, we leave you with much more from Tim Laughlin and Kris Tokarski. I've got a right to sing the blues. Thank you all so much. Great to see you. Thanks for watching. Good night.
Support for Steppin Out is made possible by local author Sarada Bonnet. In Notes of Forgiveness, Bonnet shares her childhood story as daughter of famed rockabilly singer Sherry Davis. Notes of Forgiveness, available in bookstores and at saradabonnet.com.